Hey everyone, John here, software engineer with 10 plus years of experience. I'm the lead maintainer of Latterly.io, and I am fixing the YouTube video title as we speak. Somehow that one didn't update. So today we're working on Stripe subscriptions integration for Latterly.io. Latterly is a website that helps software engineers land their first or next programming role. So it's a career platform. And if you are looking for the video with the answer, here's how you do it step by step. Here's the lines of code you write, and you want it quick. This is not the video for you. This is a live stream where I'm not sure currently about the best implementation. And I'm going to show you my process, how I figure it out and implement it. Okay. Drop a comment if you would like a cleaned up version, which kind of like after we do the thing, then I can show you like the polished, quicker video. Maybe it would be 5 or 10 minutes. And it would skip all the parts where we're struggling, right? This video is actually a work video, a video of me doing work. And I like to do these sorts of streams because it demonstrates to people who are learning to code for the first time, hey, even really experienced software engineers, we still have to search things, right? Like we still don't know a lot of things. Latterly is already integrated to Stripe, okay? So even though I have context on Stripe integration, integrating it this way, I still need to do some research there. It's not enough to be familiar at a high level. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the screen. You should be able to see this. Issue number 63, GitHub issue number 63 on the Latterly repository, which says that we should have better Stripe interop, better Stripe integration. Okay. And where am I going to figure out the design? I'm going straight to GPT. I would go in years past straight to the official documentation, but GPT is a short circuit way to get the bits of documentation that I care about, basically. So I say, how do I take recurring payments with Stripe? I meant to say in a way, so I said and a way. That's a mistake on my part. Optimized for high conversion. Okay, now I could prompt it further to ask in particular about Next.js, but I didn't want to bias it that way yet. I wanted to get the high level answer. And I was already expecting an answer, which is to use the pre-built checkout experience, because Stripe puts a lot of effort into making sure that their pre-built checkout experience is highly optimized. So I worried that if I asked it about Next.js integration in particular, it would skip the pre-built checkout experience answer, because that is not necessarily using Next.js. That's like on Stripe's website. So that's the reason that I didn't want to bias it yet and ask about TypeScript or JavaScript or React or anything like that yet. I wanted the high level answer, and then we can follow up and ask about doing this with Next.js. So what did it say? Did it give me the answer I was looking for? Optimize the checkout experience, Stripe checkout, or payment links. Stripe checkout is pre-built. So this is basically what I was looking for. Interestingly, it gave me a bunch of other answers. So we're going to spend a little bit of time looking through them. So if we use Stripe billing for subscription management, it's designed for recurring payments. I think this is fine. The question would be, how do we do it in Next? And it says, use the Stripe API. So here's a trade-off. In this case, I'll have to write code. Which I'm okay with. That's kind of what we're here for. What about simplify the payment process? Minimal form fields. That's smart. That's just general smart advice about any form, whether it's payment related or not. Support for trials and discounts. So a lot of these advanced features, which may improve conversion, are going to be available in Stripe billing, and they may not be available in the checkout experience. That's good to know. We can do a multi-phase implementation. We can do something that's easy now, and then later we can do the harder thing. So that, and that's basically the strategy that we've taken, by the way, right? So Latterly currently has these, which are non-subscription, and they do use the checkout experience, but they're one-time payments, okay? So the general strategy of do the easy thing that you can integrate like right away, and then do the increasingly better, increasingly stickier, increasingly higher conversion in an iterated way, that is the strategy we're already taking. That is the strategy we're already taking. Okay, so let's keep reading. Use customer portals. Yeah, that seems cool, but how much work is involved there? It'll reduce churn. This feels long-term to me. So reducing churn is valuable if you have a large existing community, but if you're trying to drive adoption, it's like putting the cart before the horse. You know what I mean? So we'll do that later. Preventing failures is important, but I have Stripe data. Payment failures is not a big pain point for me. A/B testing, cool. A lot of this stuff is icing on the cake. Webhooks. This one we might need to do, because when the payment goes through, I want the system to immediately update their subscription level in the software, in the database. So this one we might need to do. Okay, cool. So we read through these different approaches, and really there's that I'm seeing: Stripe billing, pre-built checkout, and webhooks. And I'm not even sure that these are all different, right? Because I think you can use the webhooks with options 1 and 2. So one of these I was already expecting, and then one of these I was aware of. Like, you can do an API integration, but it feels like more work. So I'm going to put this one, even though it's like option number 1, I'm going to say that that's my second choice, because I want to prioritize low level of effort. That's what I want to prioritize. Do you see the reason for that design choice? So I'm prioritizing this if possible. And then later in the future, we might integrate this, set up a customer portal, reduce churn, all the bells and whistles. But let's get this going, because hopefully it's a lower level of effort. Now let's confirm that instead of assuming that. If I want to optimize for lower effort as a software developer, does it make sense to prioritize the word is pre-built? Oh, there's a dash in there. Pre-dash built experience over SDK API integration. In the past, the problem has been the pre-built experience was supporting one-time payments, and I couldn't get subscriptions to work in the past. So let me make sure to ask about that. Remember that I want to support subscriptions, not just one-time payments. Okay. Cool. So I don't know if things have changed over time. Maybe Stripe added more features. Maybe GPT is wrong, or maybe I was just not good the first time around and it's always supported subscriptions. But it seems like the pre-built experience, at least according to 4.0, the pre-built experience does support checkout. Great, so let's go for this approach. So let's move forward. Use Stripe Customer Portal. I don't understand this payment links thing. I'm okay with either option, payment links versus Stripe checkout. Okay. I'm suspicious that both of these will, that we can do both of these in our time frame. I'm suspicious that they'll both be fine. And so if they're both going to be fine, I don't need to further reduce onboarding effort. If it's decisive, if it's like, hey, you can do one of these today, but you're not going to be able to do the other, that would be decisive and interesting. But if I can do either one of them today, then I'm going to want to prioritize the one with higher conversion efficacy. Does that make sense? Yeah, Stripe checkout. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So how do we do this? So here I'm going to open up my Stripe on another window and make sure I don't show anything too sensitive. And then I'll actually be showing you some of the Stripe UI here as well. If you're seeing the video is interesting so far, throw some likes on the video. Hopefully you're able to understand kind of the decision points and process that I'm using to understand options and then pick the best option based on the criteria that I'm using for optimization. So any design, you should be having an explicit optimization criteria. Often developers don't do this and they sort of stumble into a solution. This is not an efficient way. This is not a high quality, scalable way to design software. You want to have explicit conscious awareness of the numbers that you want to see go up, go up. And often that's multiple numbers, by the way. You don't need to optimize for one number. Samir says, I just joined. Can you say high level what you're doing? So we are integrating Stripe subscriptions. So here's latterly.io. This is a website that helps you learn to code and land your next programming role, social network, a bunch of really cool stuff on here. Just rolled out this testimonials feature. Check that out. And currently, really the premium tier in particular is what I'm interested in here. So this pay what you can feature is weird for subscription purposes. It's weird. So I don't want to fit a round peg into a square hole. So if systems supporting subscription do not support pay what you can or pay what you want, that's okay. Then I'll reserve the subscription stuff for this premium option. So when the user hits this button, currently they do a one-time payment of 30. And I want to change that into a recurring payment. So that's the main thing we're trying to support today. Okay, so here's my home page. I can make payment links over here, payments. I think I can bring this on screen. Bam. So here's my Stripe dashboard. Here's the way to make payment links over here, but I don't want to make a payment link. I want to do a Stripe checkout experience. Okay, so we set up products and pricing plans in the dashboard. Add a product. Okay, so we're going over to products. Is it under billing? Is it under product catalog? Let's go to the product catalog. Let me take it off screen, make sure. I don't think there's anything sensitive on there, but let's just be safe. Yeah. Okay, so here's this product catalog, right? So there's small group membership. Oh, that one is already recurring. Cool. Here's premium plan. Maybe what I need to do is just alter this. Cool. The testing is going to be weird. It's going to be weird to test this stuff. I will make a new product instead of editing an existing product. So I'll do like premium recurring. Premium. Let me add a new product. This is going to be called premium recurring. Description, access to advanced laterally.io features. We can always change that description later, so it doesn't need to be the most informative thing in the world right now. So I'm looking for just my logo, basically. Cool, this seems fine. Tutoring, yep. And then I'm gonna set this at $1 for testing purposes, and then we can ramp it up after after it works. Okay, it's monthly, yeah. So let's add this product. So how do I visit? Should have like a product page. No? Okay, maybe this is where I got stuck last time. Here is basically the product ID, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna try to swap that out manually. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try. A little bit of guess and check. Guess and check is a real thing. Access denied. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. So am I going to have to do this through the API? I mean, that would be the reason it's not set up yet. Anything that required like API work in the past, I just punted on it. Ngrok used to help, but I think Stripe has their own secure tunnel for testing now. So maybe we install the SDK as we're being instructed to do. So I was resisting making a code change. Like if possible, I'd love to avoid making a code change. But maybe we don't get to avoid that. I'm just confused why I'm writing an SDK integration if we were going to do pre-built. Let me look for pre-built. Maybe I misread something earlier. Stripe checkout is a pre-built hosted payment page. Okay. So if it's pre-built, what is going on? All right, let's ask. Okay. Okay, so we're setting up a context. Got it. This makes sense. We're not doing all the things. We're just setting up a context so that when they're done, I think we're going to, you can think of it as a callback hook. Yeah, when they're done, we're going to be able to immediately understand that they're done, which is really great. Okay, cool. Let's do this. So let's go back and do this. Here, am I on my feature branch? Get branch. I'm on main. So I'm going to get checkout -b. Now we're finally ready to code. 20 minutes in. Hey, 20 minutes of planning is a worthwhile investment, friends. I know if you're on YouTube and you're like, get to the answer. I don't know the answer. We have to uncover the answer. So drop a comment if you want me to do a retrospective or video post where it's like, hey, here's just how you do it. The purpose of this live will include showing you how I actually work through these things. And I think 20 minutes to get your design shored up is totally worthwhile. So check out -B 63- better stripe interop. Okay. And so now I want to npm I stripe. While that installs, let's view the next set of instructions. So we're going to install stripe. And here we're using this express. Okay, now I'm going to give GPT more awareness of my stack now that we're actually getting into the code. So I'm going to my package.json file, and I'm just grabbing the whole thing. Laura, thanks for the likes. Here is my package.json file. Pay attention to the versions of React and Next.js that I am using. I would prefer to avoid installing Express. Let me know if this is feasible and update your code, suggested code. Here I'm going to say package, or I can just do the file type JSON. So that 3 backtick syntax is a markdown syntax. GPT recognizes markdown very well. You can take advantage of Next.js API routes to create the Stripe checkout session without adding dependency on Express. Exactly what I want. Love to see it. Eric says, can you create a cryptocurrency payment gateway? Sure you can. I'm not going to do that today. You can do anything in programming. If you can think of it, you can do it. The question isn't if, it's just how much effort and how much time and how much cost, those sorts of questions. You can do absolutely anything. Now, if you wanted to ask, is a crypto gateway as difficult? Like, is it equally easy to create a Stripe gateway compared to a crypto gateway? No, a crypto gateway is going to be way harder. So you can do it. It's going to be harder, though. So we're going to do pages API. I don't want to use the pages route. Oh, yeah, I do. So this is before my migration. Am I in the app route? Am I in the app folder or the pages folder? Source? No, I'm in app. Okay, we're going to update this one more time. One more time. I want to use app directory, not pages directory. Derek says, I like the way you use ChatGPT. Thank you very much, Derek. So I want to formalize a course on how to use ChatGPT. There are very particular practices. There are right ways and wrong ways to do it. When I ask GPT a question, I have a general answer expected ahead of time. I may not know the details. That's the reason I'm using GPT. But I'm not just asking an ambiguous question where I have no idea what the answer is. That's a developer trap and a security risk. If I'm just going to trust whatever the language model says without verifying, that's super risky. So we want to trust but verify. That's just one technique. There's a bunch of these techniques. The way that you phrase prompts. So thanks for the compliment. And yeah, if you want to help me put together the course, join the Discord, drop by, let me know. Or if you, like if the audience tells me that they're willing to pay for the course, I'll prioritize creating it. At some point, I'll create it. But it has been on my back burner compared to things like integrating Stripe subscriptions, right? Samir, thank you for the follow. I recently discovered how good it is at remembering context of the conversation. It varies by model, right? And so now we have O1 Mini and O1 Preview rolling out, which are even better. They have even longer context windows, and they're even better at recall, haystack recall, recalling from earlier a particular sentence within a large blob. They're just getting better and better, so we love to see it. Ross says, I always use the VS Code extension to generate a project tree, then I share it with GPT. Great results. Interesting. And so, yeah, is there an extension for that that shows like the file tree? VS Code extension to write directory structure. What I often do is I often just take a screenshot, just like a screenshot of the directory, because GPT can understand images. So I've never bothered, but that's limited, right? Because it's only a partial. It doesn't really represent the full directory structure. So if there is an extension that will write out, allows the user to copy the project's folder structure to the clipboard. That's pretty cool. Is it one of these, Ross, or is it something else? Do you use Copilot as well? I have it installed, but it works spotty. I feel like I don't exactly know the rhyme or reason. So it's installed right here. Print banana to the console. So I don't know the rhyme or reason, but sometimes Copilot just stops working. It's like not doing the thing, and I'm not exactly sure why. But I love it when it works. Yes, finding the name now. Thank you so much, Ross. Samir said, I had good results with Claude, more so than GPT. It goes back and forth. So I'm not using GPT, right? So talking about ChatGPT is underspecified. There's multiple versions. So I'm using 4.0, okay? So I'm on the premium version. I don't know, is 4.0 available to free now? It used to not be available to free. So ChatGPT version 3.5 is not good. 3.5 and earlier. 3 is not good. 2 is not good. Okay, those are all not good. 4.0 is often better than Claude. It's often better than Claude, but not always. It's going to depend on the task. So Claude does not have a code compiler. Claude cannot understand. Yeah, it can. Claude can understand images. Claude does not have a code compiler. Is pretty much, I guess, the main one. Yeah. And then the O1 series is just way better than Claude. Like, I love Claude to death, and I like that it has a pretty large context window. So it has use cases. Yeah. Project structure generator 012. Okay, cool. So let's check it out. Okay, I like that it's 5 stars, but it's 1 review here. Let's see if we can compare this to Google. Had a few other suggestions. What about Structureize? That one has no. Okay, so that's a loser. And what else do we have? Draw folder structure creates a markdown representation. This will be the last one that I compare against. Draw folder structure. Here's 5 stars. Yeah. So this one, I would probably prefer. Visual Studio Code designed to. So let's try this out. Let's try this out, and if this fails, then I'll try the other one. Thanks for the recommendation. And so what do I want to do now? Now I've installed it. How do I use it? Instantly generate a markdown representation of folder structure with a single click. Nice. Navigate to the file explorer. Osmar Perez, why not just use Cursor with Claude? Because it's overrated, dude. Okay, I should chill because you don't know all the stuff that I've done, but like I get this question all the time. I did the eval. It's not that good. It's like it's hyped. So Cursor IDE with Claude 3.5, check it out from a month ago. You'll see it just flopping. It just flops. It's not good enough. I love Cursor. I love the team. I'm on the Discord. I've talked to them. I've suggested enhancements to them. They've made some of those enhancements. So it's getting better over time, but it is not replacing VS Code right now. Not at all. Okay. So I want to try out this extension, right? So I'm over here. What should I do? I should right click Blitz app maybe. Generate markdown structure. Interesting. Interesting. Some of these I don't want. Yeah, see, I need the equivalent of a git ignore for this. I need the equivalent of a git ignore. Maybe let me do if I just do on the source folder here. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. Okay, cool. I like this thing, and I'm sure if I browse through the features, it will have something like a git ignore. I don't want to do that right now, but as a workaround, we can just get the directory structure under source, which is obviously limited, but it seems to it like 80-20. It gives you 80% of the benefit with only 20% foregone, and you also miss all of these extraneous like the Webpack and GZ files that I don't want. Cool. Lara, what are you building? We are integrating Stripe. So let me toss this over to GPT-4. I don't know if it's going to help any. While it processes that, I will add this extension to recommended extensions. So draw folder structure, copying this item name. Okay, then I'm going to my .vs code folder. Extensions, and I'm adding this one. The website is ladderly.io, like you're climbing a ladder. Cool. So there's a tree command in terminal. Yeah, I mean, I don't have it. Where is it? I think this is a totally useful extension. I published my branch to Git. I'm going to create a pull request now. We'll say that this closes Stripe. This also closes Stripe Elements and Pay What You Can subscription. Cool. 2 for 1. We love to see it. Create this PR. My wife is texting me about buying things. Okay. This is fine. Whatever, close that. And so let's get to some code. Thanks for sharing the detailed structure. Given that you're using an app directory, here's how you can set it up. So app API, create checkout session route. Let's go make this guy. So right clicking, copy. App API. Do I not have an API folder at all? Okay, nice. Our first API folder under the app router. Do I still have the API folder under pages or what? Yeah. Cool. Create checkout session will be the subfolder name. Create checkout session. Okay, now I've got this subfolder. Bro, are coders smarter? Are you asking if programmers are smarter than the general population? By IQ, yes, smarter than average, but you don't need to be like a genius. That's a myth. You can have an IQ of 100 and be a fine programmer. If your IQ is like 80 or under, you're gonna have a hard time, to be real. You can still do it. It's not impossible. It's just gonna take you like years instead of months to learn to code. You can still do it though. Although the learning tools get better every year, don't they? So maybe AI will help us compensate for that. We know that AI tools help low productivity programmers more than they help high productivity programmers. So like the most early career, the most ill-informed, these individuals benefit the most from the use of AI technology in terms of their task completion competency and like code correctness and things like this. So I think it's an amazing education tool as well. So Latterly is like language model first. You'll hear some people who are like, hey, like computer science students stay away from language models because it's like training wheels and you'll never really develop your coding muscles if you keep using language models. I'm anti that. Okay, I am. Now, I'm not telling you to cheat in your CS courses. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if I were your professor, in my class, you would be encouraged to use AI. You wouldn't get slapped on the hand for using AI. It's like the new calculator. Like, although that reference is so old because like who uses calculators anymore? So yeah, if you're not familiar with like the transition in the 90s that happened where in school you weren't supposed to use a calculator, but then on the job we're always using calculators. What is like that? I don't know what is like that. Maybe horses and cars. I'm just making stuff up at this point. Like, don't learn how to drive a car because it's better to learn how to drive a horse. This sounds really stupid. I don't know what the analogy would be if someone is not familiar with the whole calculator transition. Maybe it would be like, don't learn how to use a Kindle because we mostly use paper books. I don't know. And so in school, they're like, you have to use paper books and then you don't actually use paper. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the analogy is besides the calculator thing, to be honest with you. Anyway, here's how I would say it. Build the skills and tools that you will use on the job, and you're going to be using AI on the job. I think that's the easiest way to go forward. Laura says, AI helped tutor me through boot camp as a mom of a little. Don't think I would have made it without it. I'm so glad to hear that, Laura. And thank you for being here. That's really cool. That's a really cool story. Maybe one day you can tell me more about that. Okay, so we're creating this route TS TypeScript file. Here's the content. Let me grab the content. The pattern that I'm going to take here is TrustBot verify. I'm not shipping it to prod this way, but I'm going to literally adopt the code and then test it to see if it works. And then I will audit the code line by line for security and so on. You either hard code your price ID or pass it dynamically through the request body. Cool. Dynamic will be better. Dynamic will be better for us because this is an open source project. Someone else may clone the project and have a different product ID. Do I have an env template file? Okay. I'm really surprised by this. I thought I had an env template file. Let me take this off screen 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So this is a template file, but I'm git ignoring it. So I need to unignore this file. Or rename it. Rename it would be even better, perhaps. .env.template. And then this one is no longer ignored. Yeah, that's better. .env.template. And so we're adding Stripe in here. Next public site should already exist. Next public site. How does it not already exist? That's a little bit wild. Whatever. I think it's fine. Okay, and we can add a condition like you don't need to set up Stripe. So if you don't have a Stripe secret key, the premium card will just not appear on your instance, on your deployed instance. I think that's fine. And so Stripe secret key, I also want to have Stripe premium recurring, or like, let's say, just say Stripe premium product ID. So we're going to turn this into an environment variable as well. Here, I can get this will be helpful to other developers. So I'll say some ID from I'll even do it like this. Okay. Should I expect people to read this? Maybe I should put it as a comment. So I'll say Stripe premium product ID is from that. And then here I will default an empty value. That will allow me to do a falsity check in my code. Again, wrapping the premium card in this block, which is like, hey, both these things exist. If I had put this over here, it would evaluate as truthy. And then I might have that card pop up and the link is this bad boy, which is like a bad experience for the developer, the end user. You might ship it to production, bad things, bad things. So let's do this. And hopefully that guards against that potential sad case. Cool. Pretty stoked about this. So I need to take this off screen and evaluate and like populate my actual values. Okay, so where is my Stripe secret key? Dun, 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 secrets. Laura says, how often do you go live? So I go live pretty much every Saturday, but besides that, it's random. And so I go live probably 3 times each week on an average week. How will you be aware of my live streams other than my regular Saturday? The answer is join this Discord over here. So ladderly.io, join the Discord. And I usually drop a comment, which is like, hey, I'm about to go live. Does that make sense? Thanks for the question. Okay, cool. So let me take this back off screen. This is weird. Oh, okay, got it. So I'm doing a newer version of Stripe than GPT is aware of. if we run into some complaints where Stripe says that a thing is not allowed, I'll let GPT know at that time. But I'm going to assume backwards compatibility for now. Okay, so here's my product ID. ENV template. I'm going to temporarily put this here now. I don't care if you see that. I'll be moving that before I commit. I need the product ID and I need the Stripe secret key. Okay, let me go get that. Cool. And Stripe makes this easy, pretty easy to look up. Let me just show you how I'm going to find it, although I won't show you the value. So I'm currently on my settings page. You can see that. And then I'm using the search bar and I'm looking for secret. And so it's going to be on this page, but I'm going to take that off screen. Okay. Cool. Now I'm going to grab all of this and you're going to get to look at a totally blank screen momentarily. We'll be right back. Okay, so here's my env.local, which has the real secrets in it. And the key can only be revealed once to keep your account secure. If you lose it, you must roll another key. I think that's fine. Oh, 6-digit verification on my Authenticator app. All right, let's do this. All right, so that probably disrupted TikTok. Sorry about that. I had to get my Authenticator app, which is on my phone. Technology, what are you going to do, eh? If only there was someone who could improve technology. That would be so useful. Okay, so I've populated my Stripe secret key in my .env.local file now. And now I am able to bring back on screen route.ts. Boom, we're back in business. Okay, so here's route.ts. And basically, I want to basically, I want to try it. I want to try it and see if it works now. Okay. So we have an endpoint. I'm going to need to go to that button and swap out the button so that it instantiates this action. Let's go check out the UI. Here's localhost. Okay. So this button, right? So we made the route, but we didn't hook up the button. So I'm going to inspect it, and I'm going to grab some component of this some fragment of this component, some substring of this HTML that will allow me to search across files and identify it. So the class collection is likely to be unique. The text value is likely to be unique. And that href internally is definitely going to be unique, right? So any of those I think would be adequate. I'm going to go for the href. Then I come into my editor, Command-Shift-F, Command-V. That allows me to search across files. And here we go. Snaps me right to this pricing grid. Okay. So So do I want to change the benefits or the text or the price, any of that stuff? No. Do I want to change the logged in link? Yes, I think so. Although I may need to do more than that. I may need to have a non-URI action. I may need to actually trigger a function. Okay, so the link is used to render this link. Makes sense. There are a variety of ways that I could hook up or alter this thing. I think it's smart to decouple these concerns if possible. So I would remove the logged in link from premium, so this block would not render, and I would make a different block which triggers a button rather than a link. What do you think, chat? I think that's the best path forward. Okay, so let's go see what ChatGPT is saying now. Got these bad boys populated. Let's create a component for the checkout button. Cool. Let's make a checkout button. Love to see it. I'll copy this. And so, and it's a client component. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, right? Because we're doing this action on the client side. Looks good. In source app, we'll make source app pricing page TSX if it doesn't exist. No. Why am I doing that? Oh, am I going to embed the checkout form on my website? Okay, I could be down. That's fine. Here's the where's the checkout button? Here's the checkout button. In the pricing page. This looks really weird to me. Oh, I think GPT is not aware that this button, I'm using this button on the home page. I'm using this button on the home page. Yeah, it doesn't know that I have this pricing grid thing. That's okay. So I will make the button outside of this file. So we'll have pricing grid. And then that can include pricing button .tsx. I could also put this in like up a level. That would be fine. I really don't care too much. But the logic of putting it here is that I'm currently going to exclusively be using it within this grid. So I'm keeping it local to this folder. Does that make sense? Cannot find module Stripe JS or its type declarations. Okay, I might need to install types separately, eh? Yeah. This is one of those, I think I can quickly get it from Google. Has its own typing, okay? Okay. Are we trying to use Stripe in two different ways? Yeah, so it never told me to install Stripe.js, did it? So I ran npm I Stripe. Are you saying that I need to npm I? Yes, you'll need that one as well. Okay, so the idea is one is server side, one is client side. That's good enough for me. So I'll go ahead and npmi this. And it should come with its own types according to Google. I'll run the fix, but I'm not going to force it. So this should solve the friendly fixes, hopefully. Cool. Yeah, it solved 4 of them. Cool. A win is a win. A win is a win. And now it's saying that other stuff is fixable as well. So let's run it again, I guess. Did it just go right back up? Six, 8. Okay, no, it didn't go up or down that time. That's fine. Whatever. We solved 4. That's good. Why is this guy still so mad? So here's the checkout button. Refers to a UMD global. Oh no, my IDE is bugging. I don't know why this happens sometimes, but I'll get errors on like div and stuff. Okay, import React from React. This usually fixes it. And then also sometimes closing and reopening VS Code fixes it as well. Let me try this. Okay. Partial fix. I'm looking in my node modules. I'm going to look for this at Stripe. At Stripe, Stripe.js. And then where are the types? Let's look at the README. TypeScript support. This package includes TypeScript declarations. We support 3 and up. What am I at? I'm at 4.8, so we should be good. I might try closing and reopening VS Code. I don't know why it's not giving me the type. Let's go into the source. Shared TS. Oh, there's no types folder here. What? Up. Yeah, inside of the Stripe package, there's no types folder. So it's some kind of pathing issue. I mean, the types are here. They're just not being read. All right, let me close and open. Turn it off and turn it on again. And then if the issue persists, then I will ask GPT at that point. Was a publishable key. I don't know that I have any of these. What's up?
Can you please help me with this? You need to charge it, please.
It looks like it's on. Why do I need to charge it? It looks like it's still alive.
But how do I turn it off?
I'm not sure. You can take that out. Failed to get Copilot token 401. Okay, some GitHub Copilot issue. Here, load Stripe.js, and now we're working. Yeah, I don't know why that happens sometimes, but I've seen it. So close your VS Code and open it again. All right. Now I have a pricing button. Price ID. I wonder if that's different than a product ID. Okay, so I'll make a note in the template. This will be a to-do. So before I merge, excuse me. Before I merge this pull request, I'll need to distinguish between a price ID and a product ID. I've been assuming that it really wants a product ID, but that could be wrong. And then publishable key versus the Stripe secret key. Yeah. Okay. So maybe I need to go get some more stuff. Don't need that comment. Don't need that comment. Redirect to Stripe checkout. Don't need that comment. Okay. All right. Otherwise, this looks good. There's a bunch of comments I don't need here. Got it. So the secret key is for the backend. It looks like the UI and the backend just need different data. That's totally fine. Here's the checkout session ID. Ah, that's a literal that Stripe will inject. Interesting. Okay, so that's the magic sauce there. Pass the price ID. Okay. So we can, instead of an environment variable, we can pass this in from the UI. But yeah, the UI would just be hard coding it in that case. So it's the same problem. That comment I'll leave. And I'll leave this one too to note that it's optional. That's interesting. So this is looking good. Now I have this pricing button. Really a pricing page, but I don't want the whole page here. Let's call this a pricing button, checkout button. I'll call it a Stripe checkout button. Do I need to hard code this to premium? We could for now and then generify it later because Yagni, there's only one case today. What would be the different level of effort between a hard-coded and a generified version here? It seems to me that it's just a matter of passing like a product ID as an argument here. So if the effort is that low, I may go ahead and eagerly optimize or eagerly generify this component just because the effort's so low and there is a intuitive path to using this button in other places for the non-product or the non-premium products. Yeah. Cool. And then this goes together well with the plan data model change so that I'm not going to have a logged in link, but I will have a Stripe ID. Is it going to be a price ID or a product ID? I'm going for product ID. And then we can change that if needed. But basically, I can ship this argument right to, I can use this as my conditional, like whether to render the block that I talked about. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I can ship it right to this pricing button. So I think it goes together well. And we're not like really making like a weird data model that's over architected and hyper abstracted. We're not really doing that. This is a very small change for a realistic use case. Okay, cool. So if it's a Stripe product ID, then this thing, I'm going to call it a Stripe checkout button. I'm going to call it a Stripe checkout button. Update the file name. And I'll want to commit this as its own commit, basically its own feature. I don't want to export the pricing page. I want to export this button. Okay. And so here, boom, you get, what do you get? Do you get the whole, I can just give you the whole plan object, or I can just give you this product ID. Would you need anything else? Maybe passing the price. For now, I'm just going to do the ID. Hover, quick fix, add the import. It's complaining about this. I need to set the argument. Okay. Now, if I control minus to jump back, it should be complaining less. Cannot find, oh, it would be plan dot. Okay. Linter is happy here. We jump in. Linter's we're not using it yet, but otherwise good to go. So here's the Stripe product ID. And this is the part that is like questionable, right? That's the part that's questionable. Cannot find it. Okay. And that may be wrong, but we'll get it fixed before the pull request is merged. All right, so this seems good, or at least it seems in a committable state. Does this make sense, what I mean, that we're in a committable state right now? Close other files besides this one. I will go for the env and the package JSON by themselves. Let me take out the env. Just these. This will be chore install Stripe. Okay. Break up the commits a little bit. The env, I'll have it go together with its user. You could do this in 2 stages because the route is the back end and these are the front end, and that you could even, oh, fine, let's do that. But that's like fake. It's like fake, dude. It does make sense to commit the route by itself when it's previously not used from a rollback perspective. If something went wrong in prod, I could roll back. Like if these components mess up the UI, we could roll it back and this would be safe because it's not in use. So I think that's fine. So here's a feature. And this is the checkout session route. And then this, and so we broke up our 7 files into 3 commits, and they're nice and small, 1, 2, 3 files a pop. That's better. So I feel good about this. And then this feature is the button. The button is the feature here. Stripe checkout button. Okay. Y'all, thanks for joining. I'm actually going to pause the stream there. Follow for part 2 if I make it. Otherwise, this feature will ship this week, maybe even later today. Not sure. Thanks for being